So it's already 3:04. Um, so I think we should begin now. So welcome everybody to Introduction to Web Development Lesson 2. Today we're going to be covering a little bit more HTML, how to add images, links, and some entities. So today's lesson isn't going to be that content heavy. So hopefully this will be a shorter lesson than last time, because I think some kids last time they were a little bit bored at the end. So this one will be a little bit shorter. So let's start off with some. Oh wait, can you guys see my screen? I just realized I forgot to share it. There. Okay, so can you guys see my screen now? Okay, so let's start off with some class updates. So first of all, a lot of people turned in their homework, so that was good. I looked through most of them, and I also gave some feedback to some of them. A lot of people actually, I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but some people like shared the link to the REPL editor of their website. I'm not sure if you wanted to share with me like the code, but you can just share the URL of the website. Obviously, I'm not going to like edit your website in any way if you share like with me the REPL editor, but like um, if you make sure you share the actual URL to the website on your homework. Also, starting this lesson, we're gonna have like a different way of handling questions. Last lesson, I got a lot of like repetitive questions, and as a result, I had to spend a lot of time answering the same questions over and over. So this time, I'll answer each question once. Just try to pay attention. If you don't, and like you ask another the same question again, I actually posted a frequently asked questions document onto the classroom, which you guys can be on. And then basically I'll type the question onto the document, and then um, after the class ends, I'll answer them and you can reference it. And also like these lessons are recorded and on YouTube. So if you don't get something, you can always look at the slides after class, or you can look at the video after class too. With that being said, please don't spam me if I don't immediately answer your question. Like last time, a few people did that, and it was like it was a little it was a little like weird. But don't spam me. Just ask it one time. I'll try to make sure I can answer the question after each slide. And then, as always, you can always email me at danielzeng@alphademic.org with more questions after class. So today, like I said, we're going to be covering HTML attributes, like adding images, links, and other stuff. This is going to be a short class. I predict. I'm not sure if it will actually be, but there's less content than last week, and you guys already know some basics of HTML. So first, let's review some stuff from last class. Remember, we learned from last class that we use hypertext markup language, or HTML, to add the content to web pages. So like the words, the images, the text, links, buttons, whatever. And then we use CSS and JavaScript to add styling and functionality to a web page or website. So remember, HTML is made up of elements that are nested within each other. Like here, we have the outside body element, and inside we have all the content like H1 elements, P elements, H2, whatever. And remember, most elements contain an opening and closing tag. So let's take this H1 example, right? We have an opening tag here and then closing tag. Notice the closing tag has a slash in front of it. That denotes that's a closing tag. Obviously, some elements are exceptions to this. Some elements don't have closing tags like BR and HR, which are for line breaks and horizontal rules. And then remember, for text, we have H1 through H6 elements are for headings. And then P element is for general text. And then you use a UL, OL, and LI tags for underlining. Not underlining, what am I saying? For unordered list, for ordered lists, and then for the li tag is used inside of these elements to denote the bullet points inside of each list. I already said this. And then B, I, and U. B is for bolding text. I is for italicizing text. And then underlining, U is for underlining text. Okay, so we already have some questions. I think this is a good question. Do you have to put a space between the words and, let's say, the P tag? No, you don't have to have a space. You can just have this text continue on right after this this arrow thingy here. You don't have to have a space. You can put a space if you want. It doesn't matter that much. It's just I just use it so I can see the elements and the text easier. Another person asked if we'll be putting videos in our websites. Not not that I know of. I don't think we're going to cover that in this class. That's like a little bit more advanced, and I don't think it's really essential to creating websites. But if we have extra time at the end, we'll definitely cover some extra stuff. So the main thing we're going to talk about today are attributes. So basically, we have the regular tags, right, elements and stuff, and then basically an attribute is something part of the beginning opening tag that provides additional information about the element, and they're always in the opening tag after the tag name. So for example, in this example, we have a P element, right? And then we have an attribute here, lang equals en us, right? So that's basically just telling us that this text here is English, and it's specifically English used in the United States. To programmers, like, this thing itself doesn't really do much for us, but for search engines, it'll help them with that a little bit. Also, some elements require an attribute for you to actually do stuff. For example, images, which we'll cover in like a few slides. So let's see the basic structure of an attribute. So remember, attributes are always placed in the opening tag, right, after the tag name. You first have the attribute name here, and then you have an equal sign, and then you have the attribute value. What? No. Okay. The attribute value right here, which is enclosed in quotes, right? So you might still be unclear about what attributes are. Don't worry, I'll clarify that in the next few slides. So first, let's talk about how to create a hyperlink. So to create a hyperlink, you use the A tag, right? This is an A tag. This is a new element that we're learning today. It's the A tag. You use it to create a hyperlink. And what is a hyperlink, you might ask? A hyperlink is basically like a piece of text where you click it, and then it goes to a different place, right? Basically, we're going to use the href attribute to specify the URL or the location of the website that the hyperlink links to. Wait, can everybody hear me well? I think one person is saying they can't hear me. Okay, so other people are saying they can hear me. So maybe it's just you're on your side. There's a problem. I'm sorry, I can't fix it if the problem is on your side. If you have problems, like, I don't know, ask your parents or something to come over and help you. Um, I'm not muted. I'm not muted or anything, and I'm using a new microphone, and other people can hear me. So I think if you can't hear me, it's probably a problem on your side, not on my side. So please ask a parent to come help you. So we use the href attribute to specify the URL that the hyperlink will link to. So remember, the attribute value is going to be inside of quotes, right? And then here we have a link, a URL link. In this case, it's the Alphademic website. And then in between the opening and closing tag, we have the text that will have the hyperlink. All right, so let's open up REPL.it from last time. I guess I'll wait like 2 minutes and then you guys can open it up. And then we're going to continue using the same REPL we were using last time, which is Daniel's Animal Shelter. That's funny. So yeah, so right now we're just logging into the REPL account and opening up the REPL that we created last class. And if you weren't here last class, basically you register for an account on this website, repl.it. Just type that into the bar. I don't know what it's called. And then create plus new REPL there. Somebody raised their hand. If you have a question, you can type it in the chat. Okay. Yeah. Can I post the link in the chat? Yes, I'll post the link to repl.it in the chat. You just copy and paste that into the bar up here. repl.it, not repl.I. Is it okay if we delete like I like apples? Yeah, you can get rid of that. That was just an example from last time. Apples are cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool. How do you get rid of the black box in the bottom right corner? There's this bar here. You click it, hold it, and then drag it down. It'll disappear. That's the console. How to save in repl.it. It auto saves up here, so you don't need to click anything. So it seems like we have a lot of questions about how to use repl.it. I'll be sure to add that to the FAQ. In order to expand this website that we're making, you go to the right side underneath this blue box here, this button here, you click it one time and then you'll open it up in a new tab. Oops, not close the tabs. So for the people that are asking, like, I need the link, what link are you talking about? The link for repl.it, because the link is just repl.it. The link for my REPL, I mean, if I gave you guys a link, you would be able to edit my site, and I don't think that would be a good idea. Oh, okay, so some people are asking about the hyperlink. Okay, that's a great question. So Let's say I wanted to create a link to a Wikipedia page about dogs, right? So we just have a p tag here, p element. In between it, let's just say, if you don't know what dogs are, you can click this link, right? And we want if we run this, you'll notice that this is a text here, right? Um, I want this word to be like a hyperlink, right? So we're just gonna put like the a tag, right? href equals, remember href is the attribute name, and then we have a equal sign. And then remember the attribute value is enclosed in quotes. So wait, let me go to the Wikipedia website, .org, right? And then, I don't know, dog, domestic animal. We're not going to be eating dog meat today. It's an animal, it's a pet. Please don't eat the dog meat. So if I just copied and pasted from the bar here. And remember, copy and paste is Control and then C. That's copy. And then Control V is paste. So we're just going to paste the URL there. And then remember to close the opening tag here. And then remember to close the element too with a closing tag. Oops. And then you'll notice that this word is underlined and you can click it, which is pretty cool. So if I run this and I open it in a new tab and I click this word, it'll open up to the Wikipedia website of dog, which is the link that I put in. So let me repeat this. Let's say you have the text here, right? We have the text, this text that we want on the website that's in between two p elements, two p tags, I mean, which, like I said, are for normal text. And we want one of them to be or parts of this text to become a hyperlink. A hyperlink is like basically text which you can click and it goes to another website or somewhere else. So what we're going to do is we do the a opening tag. We have an href attribute here equals, and then we have in quotes the URL. The URL here. And you can just copy and paste the URL into here. And then remember to close off the a element. You don't need to do this inside of a p element, right? You can have the hyperlink by itself. For example, a href equals, let me copy and paste this here. Oh my God. And then let's say we want the link to be by itself, right? We can just say link to dogs, right? Please don't like request to gain access to this screen. Yeah, anyway, so here we have another hyperlink that's by itself. Or if you wanted to have the hyperlink text be the URL, you could just paste that into there. It's very easy. And then you have the hyperlink there and you can click it and it becomes like the dog website. Okay, so some questions. First, how do you copy and paste the text? So remember, copy and pasting something is just you highlight the text, hold Control C, Control, and then press the key C, right? That's how you copy something. To paste it, let me just delete this. To paste it, you do press Control and then V. Um, okay, so some people are saying it's not working. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by it's not working. Perhaps your URL is wrong or something. Maybe you had a typo. Um, or maybe you forgot the closing tag or forgot this arrow key. So it seems like a lot of people are confused right now. Okay, so one person I saw had this error. So basically, let me get rid of this. I'll redo this, right? So we want the word this in this text to be the hyperlink, right? Basically, how we enclose the this word inside the a element, because we want this to be the hyperlink. So remember, we do the a element, right? And then we do the href attribute. And then that equals, and then two quotes, and then we have the URL inside of here, inside of the quotes. Now, remember, you need to close this off before enclosing the text, right? So, and then we have a closing tag here. So don't put your text, don't put the text inside of the tag. You don't want that. What did I just do? Okay, don't put the text inside of the tag, right? You want it in between the opening and closing tag. So in between the opening and closing tag is like that. So if we click run, oops, you can see it's like that. Okay, let's go back to the slides. All right. Oh, yes. How do you make the link open in a new tab? For me, when I'm on websites and I click a link that opens the hyperlink in the same tab, and it just gets rid of the previous website I was on, like for me, that's really, really annoying. So like one useful thing that you can do to make the user experience better when you are making hyperlinks is you can make the link open in a new tab. And what I mean by opening, okay, I'll just demonstrate that later, but you can use the target equals attribute to adjust where you want the hyperlink to open to. So by default, if you don't have this here, it'll open, the link will open in the same tab. So if we go back to our code here, and we open up our website, right? This is what most people would see when they come to this website, and you click this link or this link, you'll see that, what? Oh wait, no, that's because, okay, this one's empty. Let me put the URL in there. I forgot the URL. So we open this here. And then let's say we click the hyperlink, right? We click it. The website that the hyperlink opens to opens on the same tab, which is annoying if you're already reading something on this website and you click on the link and it opens in the same tab. Then you have to click the back button to go back to the website. So for me, it's pretty annoying. So how do you open up the link in a new tab? Well, you use the target equals attribute, right? Target equals. Remember quotes, and then if you do underscore blank, that should, as the attribute value, it should tell the web browser to open up this link in a new tab. So if we run this, and then we open up our website here, if you click it, you see this tab is still here. And then it opens up the hyperlink into a new tab, which is pretty awesome because I can keep on reading into this website. And once I'm done reading inside the website, I can go over to this link that I clicked and open it up and start reading there. Can you put any tags inside the hyperlink ones? That's a good question. Personally, I've never done that before, so let's try experimenting. Let's say bold. Um, and we want to bold this stuff in between. I'm pretty sure it should work, right? Yeah, so you see it bolds the thing. What I would think it wouldn't work if you put the underline element in here because it's already underlined by default. So if you wanted to change like how the link works and stuff, you would use CSS, which we'll cover in the next two classes. So to sum up with this question, yes, you can put tags inside the hyperlink ones, the hyperlink element. And I see in the comments some people are saying like my link doesn't work or something like that. Um, I really can't help you if I don't like if I can't see what you're doing wrong. But make sure that you have the full link in here. Make sure you don't have like I don't know if you forgot the .org in Wikipedia or something like that wouldn't work, obviously. And you have make sure that you have the whole this whole tag enclosed in these arrow things before you put the text. Oh, and make sure you have text in here or else it's just not going to show. Okay, so somebody asked if I can copy and paste what I have here into the chat. Here it is. You can try it. You can try pasting it into your own code. Okay, so let's keep moving here. So for some websites, you want to the link that you have there is you want it to open up as an email, right? And what I mean by that is like you can click the link and then it'll open up the default email application on your computer, which will automatically put that email address in the to send to box, right? So how do we do this? Basically, what you want to do is first you have your email address here, right? It's still in the href attribute, but before you put the email address as a link, you put mail to, and remember the colon. Basically, this keyword here will tell the web browser that this is an email and you should open it up into an email application so that they can send an email to whoever, right? So let's create another link down here. Since this is an animal shelter website, right? Maybe whoever's visiting this website has some questions. Like maybe they want to know if like how this works or like something, and they want to contact us. Well, one way they can contact us is by emailing us. So let's create a link, right? Oops. Remember href as the attribute name, and then we have the quotes here. I'm not going to put anything in there yet, and then we want the text to say email us, and then remember closing tag, right? And then, like I said, if you want the link to open up to an email application, you can do mail to colon, and then the email address, which I'm just going to make up a fake email address like Dan Animal Shelter at gmail.com. Right. And then basically, if we open this up into a new tab, I don't know if you can see it, but it opens up into like a email application with that automatically filled in. This is not my email application, by the way. Yeah, so that's how you make the hyperlink go to an email. Let's continue. Images. This is going to be fun. So the way you add images to a web page is you use the img tag, right? The basically you have the img tag requires several attributes for the image to be properly displayed. So the first one is the most important is src. The src attribute basically is a source, right? So you put the source of the image as the attribute value. So if we go back to our REPL, right? Let's say we want to have an image up here, or in between this text and this text, right? So let's find where that text is. All right. So we want to add an image here, img, right? And remember, we have the src attribute, equals quotes and then ending. So we want to find a source for that image. So you could either find a link to that image. So I'm just going to be doing a quick Google search for an image for a dog, right? Images. Oh, we have some cute dogs. And then we just find an image here of a cute dog. Which one? This one. This one's pretty cute, right? Let's say we're going to open this image in a new tab, view image, right? And you see we have a link up here, right? We're going to copy that link because that's a source of the image link, of the image, right? And then we're going to paste that into the src attribute. And basically what that does is it brings in the image from the web, sourced from the web, all right? And remember that the img tag does not have a closing tag. So you don't need to do /img. You could also basically insert the src could also be a file name. So for example, here, if I download this image, save image as all images. If I download the image and I've downloaded it, and I have the image in my files here. Oh wait, I just realized this is the wrong image file type. Okay, let's say this German Shepherd, right? And if we save image as, so we have this image here that's saved in our files, right? Oops, what did I just do? It's saved in our files. How do we bring it into REPL.it so we can put it as an image in our website? Well, since REPL.it is an online thing, what we do is we can click and drag this file into this section here. And if we click it, let go there, you see that the image is uploaded here. Actually, I'm going to rename this image file. Let's say cute dog.jpg. So basically now the image is in the REPL, in our REPL, right? So another way we can input the image source is we can if it's uploaded in the same folder, which it is in our REPL, we can just type the file name into the source, right? cutedog.jpg. And if we run it, you'll see that, oh, that dog's there. Okay, so let's address some questions here. A person asked me to repeat how to open the image into a new tab. So right now, it depends on what web browser you're using. I'm using Firefox, right? Firefox. If you right-click the image and you see view image in Firefox, it'll open the image in a new tab. Or if you're in Chrome, if you right-click the image, you should see something like open image in new tab. And then you click that, and then it will open the image. Yeah, so that's two ways of inserting an image file into a website. Now you'll notice something. This image is very big. If we open up the entire web page, you'll see that it takes up like almost the whole screen, and all that other text is gone. So we don't want that. That doesn't really look good. So how we fix this is we can fix the dimensions of the image using the width and the height attributes. Basically, by doing this, we'll specify how many pixels the width of the image is and how many pixels the height of the image is, right? So let's edit that in our REPL. Remember, this is another attribute, width equals quotes. Let's say we want the width to be equal to 300 pixels. And then let's edit the height. Let's say we also want it to be equal to 300 pixels, right? And that's just random. Now you'll see when I do that, the image is like dog becomes flattened. It doesn't really look good. And as a comparison, in my slides, I also have a comparison here of another cute dog. You see, this one is like compressed. This one is what it should look like. So that brings me to another very important concept when we're altering the image's size, which is aspect ratios. So when you take a picture using a camera, right? The camera or the phone or whatever you use to take pictures, it records the image. It like takes a picture in a specific aspect ratio, in a specific dimensions, right? For example, this image right here has the dimensions of 6,000 pixels on the long side by 4,000 pixels on the width. I mean the height. This is the height. This is the width. And if you're like, if you've worked with ratios before, you would know that this is a ratio of 6:4, also known as 3:2. So when you're editing the size of a photo, you want to make sure that the ratio is the same in your pixels here as in the original picture. And I'll explain how to do that in the next slide. But somebody asked, how do you find the ratio? That's a great question, and unfortunately, I can't provide you like with a definitive answer because it really depends on what camera you use to take the picture and what settings you have. So it depends on what camera you use. For example, on my camera, I have a Nikon D3300, which is like a DSLR camera. It's the ratio is 3:2, but on your phone camera, it might be 16:9. So it really depends what the ratio is. And you have to search up like whatever camera you have and the aspect ratio. So how can you keep the image in the original ratio? Basically, if you know the aspect ratio, and mine was 3:2, first you you adjust one of the attributes, which is either width or height. So let's go back to my REPL, and let's say I want my image to be, let's say I want it to be 300 pixels in height, right? Then in order to calculate what the width should be to keep the original aspect ratio, then I would do 3 divided by 2, because the aspect ratio is 3, which is the width, to 2, which is the height, which equals 1.5. 3 divided by 2 equals 1.5. So to calculate the width, if we put the height down to 300, we would do 1.5 times 300, which equals 450 pixels. So to change this, actually, I'm not sure what aspect ratio this picture was, but let's say it was, okay, so clearly this one's not 3:2. So I did something wrong here. Oh wait, no, I copied this off the internet. I didn't know what the aspect ratio was. So if you guys are really confused about this, like, it's a little bit complicated if you're not a camera person. So what you can do if you don't know the aspect ratio, or if you're confused about this, you can just do what I like to do, which is just guess and check. So whatever looks good. That looks slightly elongated, so let's make that 380. And again, this is just guess and check, right? So that looks a little bit better, and it's the height that I want. So some questions here. Somebody asked, how do you know the pixels and the aspect ratio? Like I said, the pixels, that depends on, like, your camera, and or if you find an image off the internet, what the image is saved as, the pixels and the ratio and the dimensions. I think if you do Google Images, like let's say if we Google Images something and we go to images, if you click on the image from Google Images and you hover over the image, you'll see in the bottom right here, that's the dimensions, in pixels. So in this case, the dimensions would be 1280 width by 720, which is height. And then you could simplify that to a smaller ratio, to find out the aspect ratio. But otherwise, what you could do is, what I normally do is I just guess and check. Okay, so somebody asked, what happens if you put nothing in the width and then specify the height? Well, then it wouldn't change the width then. Like, if you only specified the height, it would be like, wait. Yeah, it would be like normal width, but wait. Actually, I've never tried this before. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so I guess I'm learning too. So if you don't specify it, I guess it'll stay the same as like what it was originally at, or if you changed it. Okay. So let's move on. So how do you have an image as a link? It's really easy. Like in HTML, remember we enclose everything in elements. So basically you would enclose the image tag inside of the A elements. So let's say we wanted this image to be a link. Like if you click it, you want it to go to, I don't know, the Wikipedia website for dogs again. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this. All right, and then remember the closing tag here. And then if you do this and we open this up in a new tab and you click it, it'll go to the website that you have the link as. Or if you wanted to go to a new tab, you could do, like I said before, you could do the blank, the target equals blank attribute value. And then, oops. Wait, let me reload this. Yeah, so that's how you do it. So let's keep on going. Oh, yes, the title attribute. So this is one of the last slides if you're getting bored, but this is actually a pretty cool thing that I think you can add to your text. Basically, in all text files, and I'm pretty sure image files too, the title attribute, basically what it does is it creates a tooltip, like basically a small message over the text when you hover the mouse over the text. So for example, if we have this text here, if you don't know what dogs are, you can click this link. Let's say we want to have a tooltip show up. So the title attribute equals, and then let's say what tooltip we want to show. Let's say dogs are cute, right? And then we click run, and if you hover the mouse over this text, you'll notice that there's that tooltip that says dogs are cute. So that's pretty cool thing. Like it just adds a little bit extra, like a tiny little bit extra to your web page. You can also use it to describe like a link, what a link is. So for example, if we have this in a link, right? It should say the same thing. Or if we change this, we say link to Wikipedia article. And we do that, it'll just display that little tooltip there that describes what this link is. So it's a little bit extra that you can add to your web page. Yeah, so now we're going to talk about single or double quotes for attribute values. So if we go to like one of these attributes here, title, actually, technically speaking, you don't need these quotes in the attribute value, right? You can just put the attribute value there, but that's bad practice because sometimes there will be problems where if you have extra spaces or something, the web browser will recognize something different. So that's why we usually enclose the attribute value in quotes, in double quotes. But like, what if you said you wanted the inside the text to be, the value to be also has quotes? Well, then you could enclose it in single quotes. Enclose the whole attribute value in single quotes. And it'll still work. Wait. What? Okay. See, this is an example of an error. Dogs are cute. And then it should still work, right? And you see in the tooltip there for title attribute, the cute word is surrounded by quotes like we wanted. And then let's talk about HTML entities. So there are some characters that are reserved. So what that means is like you can't use them as like you can't type them directly into the in between tags as content. Because for example, if you wanted to type these like little arrow thingies um, inside your text, the web browser might identify that as like a part of a tag, right? Because a tag has these arrow things too. Um, so how do you, like, let me give you an example here. So let's say we wanted to have like these arrow thingies inside of this text, right? If we put like one or two, it might recognize um, it might recognize what the yeah, it might recognize this thing as the starting of a tag. So then you will get in like a problem, right? Everything after this thing inside of the href, the p, is gone, right? So there's a problem. So the way you prevent this is by basically you use an HTML entity, which is basically like a specific string of characters which tells the browser that this is a special character and that it should insert this special character. So for example, we have this less than sign here, which is the arrow thing. If we want to insert it, if we really want to insert it into the text here, we don't want to do this. We want to do, let's say, and LT. So basically the template for HTML entities is either an and the entity name, which is letters, and then a semicolon, or they also have entity numbers. So we have the and then the number sign, and then an entity number. And there's tons of these like different symbols, entities, and stuff, which I didn't memorize all of them. I don't think you need to memorize it. You can just search it up, and I'll post a website with HTML character entity references inside of it. But let's say I really wanted the less than symbol in here. So if you do that, you see it appears there. Or if you want to use a number and you know the number, you can just do, since this number is 60, we'll do and number and then 60. And remember the semicolon at the end. And it still appears there. So like this table here, it shows some examples of the different symbols that you can have, like some currency symbols. And then you have this thing called a non-breaking space. And basically what that is remember how in last lesson we talked about white space collapsing. So what is white space collapsing again? If we put 10 spaces here, it'll only display one space here instead of the 10 spaces. So a non-breaking space is basically a space that won't be collapsed. So let's say we wanted 3 spaces here. We would put 3 of these here, and they wouldn't get collapsed. And you see the 3 spaces are here. Normally, if we just put 3 spaces, they would just get collapsed because of white space collapsing. I think that's the end. So just a review, we covered what attributes are, right? In our code here, we have a lot of some tags you can have an attribute in. And basically an attribute provides extra information about that element to the web page. And you can use it to like alter what that element looks like. And some elements require an attribute so that it'll like look like what you want it to look like, right? So for example, the A tag, the hyperlink element, right? Which is for links, we have the attribute name, and then we have an equal sign, and then we have the attribute value, which is enclosed in quotes. That's basically what we covered today. Attributes, we covered links using the A tag. We covered images using the img tag. And then we covered entities, which are used, like I said, which are used to add special characters or reserved characters to your web page. What the? What just happened? Okay. Okay, so I don't know. Something's happening to my REPL. Oh yeah, reload the page. Yes, that's perfect advice. It might work. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thanks for the tip. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. So somebody asked if I can show the code for the link again. If you want to see the slide, do you want to see the slide or the code? Because the code is right here, or as I have down here, right? Remember, it's the A tag or A element. Okay, so they wanted the slide. Um, go back. Yeah, so you just remember you put the URL inside of the quotes, and I think most people have the error where they put the text and then they put this this arrow thingy here after the text. You want to make sure that the arrow thing is before the text so that you close off the opening tag. And then the email thing, right? It's the same thing, except instead of URL, you have a mail to, and then colon, and then you have the email address in here. So it's the same thing, except you're not using a URL. So somebody wanted me to show the slide of the tooltip. Oh wait, no, right there. Yeah. Yeah, so I'll post these slides after class, and then I'll also edit the FAQ document, which I think will have the answers to some really like common questions, which will also include some basic stuff about REPL.it if you had trouble with that. Basically, the class is over now. It's just Q&A. Somebody asked, how do you make the tooltip text bold? I'll be honest, like I don't know how to do that. But I'll be sure to include that in the FAQ once I have that answer. See, the thing is, like, I don't know if you can use the bold element since like this is an attribute. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we have people asking, how do you make the text bold? I don't know how to make the tooltip bold, but to make text bold, for example, we have Daniel's Animal Shelter provides comprehensive. let's bold comprehensive because we want to emphasize that a lot, right? Comprehensive, oh, slash B. It's, you just use the B element, which includes an opening and closing tag. What about superscript? In the tooltip, I'm not sure how to do superscript in the tooltip either. Like, I'm pretty sure you can, there's a way to do it. I'm not sure how to do it though. But like, I, I don't think you can edit like the tooltip that much from CSS either. But like I said, I'll get back to you on in the FAQ document if I find out how to do that, because it's not like the tooltip isn't really a big part of your website, right? It's not that important. So like, it's not really common that you do that, but I'll search it up, or you can search it up too. um, oh wait, no, just realized. Oh, marquee tab. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's like, it's a weird word. I'll cover that in when we cover CSS, and also I think in a few lessons when we end CSS and HTML, I'll cover like that stuff, and also like forms and checklists and stuff. There's still 55 participants. If you want to leave, you can leave. Yeah. Okay, so it seems like there's no more questions. You can always like email me, danielzeng80 at alphademic.org, or message me through Classroom.